It has been like a whole 3 seasons since I have been able to bring my favorite science war attacker back to war, because the first season I couldn't bring her, she was completely blacklisted, and then the other 2, she was always on war defense because she was war defense tactic and I had the highest rank rarity of her. And so I haven't been able to use Silk in 3 seasons, and it's been awful. I hated it so much, but she's finally back, and hopefully for a lot more than just this war this season. But we're starting off on Path 8 against America Chavez on Node 8, and this is a really easy fight. I'm just going to play it slow and steady. I'm not going to knock her down immediately because on this node, if you knock her down, she's going to get a cruelty buff that will allow her crit through the block, so that's just unnecessary damage if I have to block. And I don't need a heavy attack yet, so I'm just not going to go for it. We're just building up to the SP2, getting more spirit gauge so we can throw the relic, and then once we throw the relic, she's just going to die, because then we'll change it into the SP2, and just like that, she's going to get overkilled here, actually. So yeah, we kill her with that crit on the SP2, and that is that first fight. So, even though Silk is the main theme of this video, Claire is actually the main attacker of this video, because I take 4 fights with her, and this is the first one against this Corvus on Node 17. And I'm definitely learning a lot more about how I need to go about fighting against this tactic. Like, you saw me spamming some light attacks into his block early on, because I figured that was the best way to gain prowess, and the entire thing is gain prowess or it's not going to be good, because you need to get rid of that indestructible. So I'm definitely learning a bit more after my first war, which was a bit of a disaster for a lot of my tactic fights, but well, mainly just one, but at the same time we're going to do a pretty good job against this Corvus here. The prowess really helps for Claire's kit in general, because you heal based off of the damage you throw on the SP2, if you're in your bleed curse, which I chose to be, so that actually does increase the damage, at least to my knowledge that's how that works, and I'm pretty sure that I'm right here. But anyway, we didn't really need a specific curse to be in. I could have used the Incinerate one for more damage if I chose to, but I decided to stick up with the healing one more, just because we're taking a lot of crits through the block from Corvus's kit anyway, so that's the one I opted to go with, even though I could have killed him faster if I went Incinerate, but it doesn't really matter. Next up we have CGR, and this is a really fun matchup for Claire, because it's always fun when you go against opponents that are either Bleed, Poison, or Incinerate immune, because that's just going to fuel her kit. And in CGR's case, he's immune to both Bleed and Incinerate, so I'm going to switch to my Incinerate mode pretty soon, I think. And I'm going to dex the SP1 sometimes, and then I'm going to block the SP1 sometimes, because I don't want to be dexing too much, or else I'm going to be losing too much prowess. So we definitely want to be able to manage how many times we actually do that. So now I have the max of 7 prowess. I'm baiting his SP1, because the way I like to fight CGR is only bait one special, either that being SP1 or SP2, because what can happen is if you let him throw 2 different specials and he charges a heavy attack, you're going to get the damnation on you, because you're always hitting him so he gets the armor judgment. He always throws at least 1 special, so that's the cruelty judgment. He oftentimes will charge a heavy attack sometimes, so that's the aptitude judgment. And if I let him throw an SP1, then he's going to get the unblockable. If I let him throw the SP2, it's going to be the precision. So if I let him throw one of those, that would make the 5th one at that point. So we don't want to do that. We just want to bait 1 special at a time, and that's what I did. I didn't push him to SP2, and he went down. So you saw I did get parried earlier, but I knew that was a risk. I don't really know why I dashed in. Just a bad call on my part, but it's alright. Next up, we have Super Skrull here, and this is another Incinerate immune opponent, which is really good for Claire, because we can ramp her up faster. We're also doing just a lot of damage, and we're getting a lot of power because of that buff immunity we're placing on him. Apparently I can't dex his SP1, but it's alright. I'm going to be able to do that better later in the fight. And so we're just constantly baiting his special attacks, and I see the falters coming close, so I'm going to back up here, and then I want to parry, trigger it, and then back up again, and then now we're just going to go for another SP2, which is going to finish the job. No, it doesn't. Okay, but I'm going to anti-bait his SP2, and then he's going to go down just like that. So Third Claire fight, absolutely destroyed all my path fights. Definitely the alliance we went against didn't do a great job of path splitting, so she was able to run through all of them, which was pretty good. So let's see, my next Claire fight, or my last one I should say, is Gorr on node 44, which I definitely think is an easier placement to go against than 42, so I was a little bit excited for this fight. I had a decent game plan given to me by my officers and one that I came up with myself, and I'm not going to do a great job of actually using the game plan early because I'm just dumb, but basically what I want to do is be in my incinerate phase all the time, and you saw me throw the SP2 in poison phase, so I was getting a bunch of incinerates on me. What I should have actually done was play a bit more passive and wait for the poison phase to trigger, then transition to poison, and then transition to incinerate as soon as the hazard shift switches to incinerate. And from there, I want to stay in incinerate for the rest of the fight and just hit his block during poison phase. That was the game plan that we came up with, and it's the game plan I should have stuck with. I think I'm going to mess it up later, but anyway, we're going against Gorr, and we just want to bait his SP1s. We're going to throw the SP2, get the buff immunity. It's just going to skyrocket my power gain so much. It's kind of crazy how much power you gain with Claire in some matchups like this, and you saw against Super Skrull it was a bit insane too. So we're going to go for the SP3 here, which does do more damage based on how many Clairvoyance charges we have, and I think we had the max, so it's going to do a good bit of damage. I don't know if it's actually enough damage. It only did like 19% of his health, so that's kind of awful, but it's alright. He's going back into Incinerate, so now I can just chill, and I'm going to go for an SP2 here, except I made a fatal mistake. For no reason whatsoever, I cycled into the bleed mode. I don't know why I did this. I knew I shouldn't do this. I just did it. And I don't know the reason. It's just like an impulse that my brain did, was to cycle into that bleed for no reason whatsoever. And now I'm going to get a bunch of incinerates on myself. And we have 5 of them now. I'm throwing another SP2, which I probably should have just chilled and not throw that. Now we're getting poisoned, and I'm kind of freaking out here. Now he's got an SP2 that I misdex. Luckily, we triggered the death immunity, and then he sidesteps me and I die anyway. So I was like, maybe I have a chance to pull it around, and then I got sidestepped. And yeah, I had the fight under control, and then the moment I switched phases, it all went downhill because I don't know why I switched phases. I just did. It was very stupid, very big mistake, and it cost me a lot. So we're going to heal her up a little bit. I probably should have healed her up more. Dumb decision, because you're going to see almost die a second time. I don't die a second time, but it came really close. I thought that the final 10% would be a lot easier than it actually was. A very dumb move. Common theme, I guess. So we're going to go for an SP2. Except, I forget that, hey, you don't pause that indestructible timer unless you have a prowess. I was like, I can just throw an SP2, the damage will kill him. No, because the indestructible is going to come back, you idiot. You have to have a prowess to actually pause it on hits. And so now I have 7 incinerates on myself, and I'm going to throw the SP3 into the indestructible, and then... Oh my gosh, bro. I hate watching these fights over and over again, because I know how stupid I am. And it's just painful to watch, but it's best to be transparent about this stuff, so that's exactly what I'm going to be. Luckily, he holds block after I changed my forms and allowed me to kill him, but I probably didn't deserve to kill him there. Anyway, that was just a complete disaster of a fight, but we're going to finish the war with the opposite of a disaster of a fight, because this Mangog is one of the cleanest war fights I've ever had. I argued to have 4 Silk fights this war. I didn't get 2 of the minis because we sent a Titania to both of them, which sucks, but I know I could have done the 2 minis I didn't actually get, but that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Against this Mangog here, which I did get, we just need to get to SP3 and he dies, and the reason for that is because we're just going to lock him in a stun loop right after the SP3, and he's just going to get completely annihilated, and there's nothing he can do about it. It's just the cheesiness of the Silk SP3 loop that makes her completely broken for war, because you can just do crap like this, where you 3-hit combo, 2-hit combo, then you're going to do some light attacks into the relic, and then what you could do is light pause, light light, medium, heavy, SP2. I didn't even do that because I didn't need the extra damage because we killed him just like that. So, unfortunate war for me as I made a stupid death that should have never happened. But we did win the war by a good bit. You can see the final score there. So now we are 1-1. First war was a loss, the second war was a win, so definitely feels a little better. I really need to be working on stopping these dumb deaths, these brain fart deaths, like that Claire one and the Jabari one from the first war. If I can do that, I'm going to be having a really good season, but so far it's just not feeling well for me. But I know I can turn it around, so it's going to be working on for the next war. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.